Yes, guys. Right, welcome to my YouTube channel, Matt's Interacting Tips. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get off to an amazing start by answering the question that I get asked the most. Now, I've been doing this, 20 plus years? And in that time, the question that I get asked the most is, what's the best way to learn a script? Now, in that time, I've developed my own script technique, which is really good for learning scripts incredibly fast. But I'm going to go through the psychology of it, how it works, ways in which you can learn scripts on your own. And I'm going to kind of go over every single technique that I know of and that I've heard of, and kind of the merits of it, and how to select which one's going to be best for you. Now, learning a script is a very strange thing because it's all about what I call cognitive pathways, right? So I developed my own script technique based upon being in a class environment around other actors. Now, if you're lucky enough to have somebody with you there to learn it, then this is by far the quickest way to learn a script, all right? So, first things first, you've got a script here. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to fold that script down the middle. Yes, right? And if you're right-handed, you're going to put it in your left hand with your thumb down the middle like that. And if you're left-handed, put it in your right hand. Okay, because the reason why you do that is because your lead gesturing hand, okay, is usually the one that you write with. So what you're going to do is once you've got it, the script in hand, the last thing you're going to do is put it in front of you. Why? Because 93% of communication is non-verbal. So when you put a script in the way of you and your fellow actor, you've cut out a big part of your ability to communicate with the other actor. So you're going to put it slightly to the side. Then what you're going to do as part of this script technique, MZA's special script technique, is you're going to decide which character you are. Obviously, you probably know it. But then you're going to look at the script, learn the line, then look right at your partner and deliver that line, having learnt it one line at a time. Now, if it's a long line, obviously, you're going to learn a bit, then look up and say a bit, and then look back down again. But here's the trick, is when the person who's reading with you reads back, you're going to watch them and you're going to listen intently at every single thing that they say. Then, when you think or realise that they've stopped saying their line, you're going to look at your next line, learn it, look up and say it. Now, what are the benefits to doing this? One, you're learning it line by line by line. You're not putting yourself under pressure to learn a big body of text. Secondly, the way that this works is you'll read it 1, 2, 3 times and it'll be incredibly slow. That's okay. But then by the 5th or 6th read, chances are you won't look down as much. And then by the 6th, 7th read, you're ready to put this down. Okay? Just like that. Now, this script technique works incredibly well. When people come to my classes, by about the 5th or 6th read, by the 5th or 6th week even, they're getting incredibly quick at learning scripts. Now, it is a kind of muscle that needs developing and that needs training, and you do get quicker and quicker and quicker at it the more you practice. But script technique is particularly good at learning scripts quickly and effectively if you're lucky enough to have somebody with you. Now, the biggest advice that anyone ever gives about learning scripts, even I was told this, is put the script down at the earliest possible opportunity. And that is the absolute truth. And it's all about cognitive pathways. So when you've got the script, you're thinking, right, it goes from here to the script, back up here, and then to your mouth. Okay? And your brain feels comfortable doing that, so it does not want to get rid of that script. But once you force the issue by just putting the script down at that point where you think it's borderline, you don't know it that well, but you think you might be able to kind of get through it, maybe improvisationally, put the script down. Usually people surprise themselves. And what you need to do at that stage is you need to force it, you need to put it out of sight so it's nowhere to be seen, the script, because you're changing your cognitive pathway. What you're going to do then is you're going to deliver the scene. But your brain now has gone panicked and gone, there's no script there. So the cognitive pathway changes to, right, it's going to go brain, and then mouth, and suddenly you've got a totally different way of accessing the information. And it's, yeah, like I said, it's called a cognitive pathway, and you've got to change that cognitive pathway to make sure that your brain accesses that information. Now, psychologists and people who kind of understand the human brain know that actually probably the first time you read it, it's up there somewhere, you've learnt it. We just struggle to access it. It's a very strange phenomenon. That's why some people, you know, can go up in a plane and they can, or they can read cards and they can literally remember the most ridiculous things. But the average human, it's all about cognitive pathways and being able to access that information in certain ways. So that, for me, is the quickest way to learn a script. If you're lucky enough to have someone with you, say you're doing self-tape and somebody's reading it with you, ask them if they'll help you learn the script as well. And you can do that very quickly. The average page probably takes about, using that technique, once you've practiced it, take about 10 minutes, okay? So it's quick and it works well. Other ways to learn a script is people record the other lines. You can do that on your voice notes, on your phone, and then leave the gap for your line so that you're constantly able to, again, use script technique, just like I've shown you. Another way that people use is to learn the line, then learn 1 and 2 lines, and until you've learnt 1 and 2 lines, you don't go on to the third if you're on your own. So learn line 1, then learn line 1 and 2, then line 1, 2 and 3, and build up how much you're able to learn, but don't move on until you've got the line. Now, with learning lines, there's 2 ways to learn lines, and you know this. There's the learning lines where you kind of reach for it and you're kind of reaching around. Now, for an audition, for a self-tape, for me, you need to know those lines instinctively. So don't give up until you know that you're not reaching for those lines. Why? Because if you're reaching for those lines, your kind of consciousness, your brain, is in the wrong place for acting. It needs to be subconscious. The lines need to be in the subconscious, so you and your performance is focused on the things that are actually going to get you that role, i.e. the action, the behaviour, and all of that. So there we have it. The first YouTube video of Matt Zena acting tips, and the first of many. Make sure that you comment, make sure that you like this video, and I hope that you got an awful lot from it.